guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Cynthia Chofna. This is the place for the versatile. I'd like to thank you very much for your subscriptions, your comments, your likes. Guys, I see you the same way that you see me, the same way that you like, you comment, and you share these videos. I thank you very much that you've taken interest in the conversations that we are having here. I would like to re-echo, and I think I'll do this several times. Each time we come here, I will remind you that the place for the versatile is to brings together different people that have that are experts in the different fields. At the end of the day, we are all going through life. We have no manual about how to go about life, so we need people that can help share knowledge, share wisdom, share guidance, so that if they took the stairs, we just need to take the elevator. Thank you very much. So this week in June, can you imagine, it's been a whole month of consistency, a whole month of content, and wow, I'm super excited. So today I would like us to talk about leadership. The call to leadership. So leadership is, or leaders are people that guide others to accomplish their dreams, their goals. Leaders in the workspace could be your manager. Leaders in your home could be your father, your mother, or your older siblings. I believe that leaders are either born or made. It can be both ways. Born leaders, natural leaders are really people who are on the get-go. Like within families, you'll see that there are people that naturally lead, especially firstborns. Guys, I'm a firstborn. You can imagine. So firstborns are really what we like to call deputy parents. They are guiding their siblings. They are nurturing their siblings on behalf of their parents. And sometimes our parents do not intend that we do this work on their behalf, but because everyone, at the end of the day, when you grow up, you realize everyone is going through life, and they have shortcomings, and sometimes we idolize parents. We expect that they know everything, but on the flip side, they do not. They're just also maneuvering life as the day comes, as the day rises. So back to leadership. Natural leaders, especially firstborns, are people that help nurture other siblings. But I also understand that there are leaders that are made. People who aspire to become leaders and therefore, take courses, acquire certain values that are necessary for leaders to have, associate with a certain sect of people. You need to understand that, if you are looking to become a leader, there are 3 avenues within which you can, become a leader. Number 1 is association. By association, I mean, who are you associating with? Who are you interacting with? There is a scripture that says, it's a proverb. It's a proverb that says, birds of the same feather flock together. Or, I think it's a Luganda. There's a way that Baganda say it that is very intriguing. Ndaga goita na ye nkubulire empisa zo. Ochiraba. So, by that they're meaning that whoever you associate with, you're definitely going to pick up on their behaviors, pick up on their habits, pick up on their even the nitpicks, how they speak, how they talk, how they dress up, how they present themselves. You're going to pick up on all of those aspects. Number 2 of how you can become a leader is read about it. Expose yourself to all these avenues of knowledge. Read, watch TED Talks, research about ingrained, what is it like to become a leader. What are some of the things that I need to do to become a preferred individual in society? Usually leaders are mostly preferred individuals in society, and if I may tell you, leaders have a way they have authority. The authority they have over the society depends on the impact that their leadership has created for them. So if your impact or your influence is small, then you definitely are going to have if your impact is small, you're definitely going to have an influence on a small number of people. But if you expand your impact, that means you're also likely going to have influence on a big number of people. So I was reading up on an article, and I thought, why not, why don't we talk about leadership? I love leadership. I'm a leader. I'm a Huduma Fellow, a proud Huduma Fellow, if you know what I mean. So Huduma Fellowship trains. It's a fellowship that brings together young people, youths that have an interest in leadership, public service, civil society. And when I set out, I have a story about this. So last year I set out to have a different goal. I know that I'm into communications, public relations to be exact, and I set out to be a different person. I needed to have influence. I needed to enter into certain rooms, and these rooms included government, included diplomacy, included international relations. So I set out and said to myself, I need to start looking out for people that speak to this cause, or to this that I'm trying to achieve. Lo and behold, I'm on Twitter, and then I see Leo Africa Institute send out a call for people to join Huduma Fellowship, and this was supposed to be the pioneer class. So when I applied, thankfully I was able to be considered, and I was among the first 15 pioneer students of the Huduma Fellowship. Now guys, let me tell you, I do not even want to downplay my experience. I cannot even think about it, because this was when I've been in rooms, I've interacted with people, but being in the room with the same sort of age bracket of people, just as I am, and people that are, driven, people that are contributing, people whose perspectives are wide. Man, let me tell you, I like these fellowships for one thing or another. I mean, not all fellowships give this. Some fellowships, it's just really, ticking a box. But I like fellowships that nudge you to think about your choices in life. About why are you not reading enough? Why are you not researching enough? There are more wiser people. Guys, I am wise. I do not even, I cannot even say that I'm not. But when I was in the room, in the Huduma, in the room that gathered us as Huduma Fellows, year of 2021, guys, I used to look around the class and I'm like, how am I in this room? Because I felt like people knew what they were talking about. People were articulate about Pan-Africanism. People are articulate about leadership. People are articulate about public service. People knew about international diplomacy. And let me tell you, the thing about association is you need to feel incapacitated. When you're associating with some people, you need to feel that you are the lesser version of the people in that room. If you ever feel that you know everything that's in this room, then perhaps your growth, your level of growth for that subject has come to a peak, and now you need to move on to a different subject. So man, I entered this room and felt like, what am I doing here? Like, these people know the things. Like, of course it felt like God had blessed me with these people to best understand that this is what I wanted, and now he has presented it for me. Now it's upon me to take up this opportunity and walk the journey. So yeah, it took us a whole 5 months. I mean, we're coming out of the lockdown. So we had to have intense gatherings, intense meetings. I really loved our facilitators. Guys, if you're interested to know more about the Huduma Fellowship, just Google Huduma Fellowship, or go to the Leo Africa Institute website and just scroll up, you'll see Huduma Fellowship. So back to the values, or answering the call of leadership. I just thought that we needed to expound more on what it is a leader is, and how we can become natural leaders. You see, sometimes, guys, let me tell you, sometimes you do not know who you are. And I've been in a place where I did not know who I was. I mean, I used to be at workplaces and I would come in late. I would have all these ideas, but just prefer to sit back with my ideas why the hassle? Because I knew that if I presented an idea, it was going to, you know, it was going to be thrown back to me to implement. And in my younger years, I was really just enjoyment. I didn't need this hard life. But now growing up, I recognize that, you see, let me tell you, leadership is really like, leadership is like a woman. A woman will have so many men really rotating around her. They're saying hi in her inbox, commenting on her statuses. I never really come, you know, it really just takes one man that's bold enough to come and approach this woman and say, you know what, I have a huge interest in you, and I think that we should become something more than friends. But, you know, so most of us, why I say that is to expound that many of us do not aspire to become leaders. I mean, talking about leadership and aspirations is something that we do, but actually living up to taking up the mantle of becoming a leader is something that not many of us, you know, are bold enough to take as a step. So I thought about, you know, having discussions on who are leaders and why you need to take care of yourself as a leader. So I came across this article by William and Mary, University Advancement. They're talking about the answering the call of leadership, and I thought that they, you know, what they write in the article and my thoughts align so deeply. So why not just come here and, you know, further, you know, have us talk about what is in this article and what I believe that we can all experience and make happen. So, you know, a leader needs to be able to handle stress and focus on leading whichever space they've been given without other distractions. Guys, let me tell you, if you are easily distracted, forget about leadership. Because leadership requires that you jump off the cliff. And jumping off the cliff does not require you to be on your social media all the time. You get, like, being on social media is okay, but there is a point where it now becomes unhealthy to be on social media. Like, you're scrolling, and you're letting the algorithm know what you like, what you shouldn't like, because you're literally there. So, you know, Facebook, if it has a hand, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all of these things are just snatching all of who you are, all of who you might be, and just keeping you glued here, scrolling on. So as a leader, you must be able to lead without, you must be able to handle stress and lead without distractions. So the first step is to focus on self-care. Guys, let me tell you, I'm also, you know, starting to think about self-care in a way that I need to look nice. So, like, you see in this video, I look nice. Look at my color. Look at my skin. You get. So I think for leaders, it's very rare that we take care of ourselves. I mean, all the time we are thinking about our work, we're thinking about our gig, we're thinking about and then we forget things like, you know, going on a date, going on a spa date, going on a coffee, reading a book, you know, doing manicure, pedicure, all of these aspects that contribute to us as wholesome individuals. I can tell you for a fact, man, that there's a time that I went and got a wig. I got a wig for the first time. Guys, let me tell you, I've never felt like at that point when I got the wig, I felt like I owned this world, and I feel like every woman should be able to feel that way. And you know, that therefore translates into leadership. If you're a leader, if you aspire, make sure that you look nice, make sure that you are representing the part. Because if you feel nice about yourself, even your work, even the things that you do, even all of this leadership is going to come easily. Yeah. And then and then, you know, leaders are role models. Think about leaders that you've admired and learned from. Are there any specific characteristics that contributed to their success and resulted in you wanting to follow their example? This is what I talked about earlier. I spoke about doing your research. When you research, it puts you it puts you, you know, 5 steps ahead especially if you research about the person that you want to be. I aspire to become, the poet that Maya Angelou was, and I hear her voice in my head. I aspire to become the show, I aspire to become a great host like Oprah Winfrey is. I aspire to become a great orator like Martin Luther King, was, Theodore Roosevelt was. So I aspire all of these great people, and I tend to read about them. I have books to research and find out what made them to become these role models that we aspire to be, that we admire. So leaders need to be able to leaders need to be the first to contribute their time and talent and treasure to the organization. That is modeling behavior. Never ask any volunteer to do something that you will not be willing to do. So that is also something. Lead an exemplary life if you're going to be a leader. And I think, as mothers in our home, I have a nanny at home. I love her so very much. She's very disciplined. She knows what she does. You do not have to be in her face reminding her, have you done this? Have you done this? No, I do not have to do that. And I'm very thankful that I'm in a position to be able to sit back and just let her, think separately, individually, and be able to accomplish her work. So, I'm what she gives me time, and this gives me time to sort of, think, how can I behave that she can just pick up on this behavior and also be a better person. You get, so you need to be exemplary all around. It doesn't just have to be in your home, it also has to be at your workplace, it also has to be in your relationships. Be exemplary if you need to inspire leadership. So for example, in many relationships, men do not know this, for example, but ladies love flowers. Even the chick that tells you, I don't like gifts, surprise her with a flower one day and see how she reacts. You get, but for sometimes men are reluctant to do these things because they've not been aspired to lead. You get, they need the inspiration to be able to give the flower. So sometimes you need to take the step to buy the flower and then give it to him and then tell him, I actually love flowers. You could do yourself a favor and get on my good side and be giving me flowers every month. You know what I mean? Yes. So you need to work side by side with all levels of stakeholders. Also gives a leader the opportunity to listen and observe. So as a leader, you must be a good listener. I know that most times we think that leadership is being able to give orders, yes, that is part of leadership. But for you to be able to give relevant orders, you must first have been in a place where you listen to your individuals, listen to your subordinates, listen to your colleagues, understand what is their point of reference, what is their perspective, from what angle are they coming from to suggest certain things. And then that way, when they see this behavior, you're also inspiring them to do the same thing. I love at my workplaces, I've been privileged to have bosses who are leaders, who are really ingrained in the work that we do at the organization or at the company. So that places me at a point where I need to learn from them, and I aspire, when I wake up every day, I'm aspiring to go and learn and pick up something that they are teaching me, so that I am also better in my career journey. Yeah, and that is what should be a constant for us all. So the other thing is, I think this is a value, really, integrity. So you need to naturally possess qualities required of great leaders, such as integrity, trust, passion, commitment, humility, and empathy. So the foundation of all of these, qualities is integrity. Without integrity, everything else crashes. And I think by integrity, they mean truthfulness. being honest, being truthful, being ethical, being upright. If as an individual you do not uphold integrity as a virtue, be sure that everything else, if you're not honest, if you're not upright standing, if you're the kind of boss that is busy sending sexually assaulting your employees, at the end of the day, this non-uprightness is going to now spread across the entire organization or company. And trust me, these are things that will lead to crumbling of even big ventures. We've seen how how big sexual scandals get to a point that they crumble even the world's most renowned men. So you do not want to be in a point like that. So people with such values, honesty, uprightness, ethical, moral, integrity, commitment, passion, humility, they have a high standard for things. And you see, let me tell you, if your standard about life is low, then your leadership definitely is on a low level. So how do you increase your standard of life? Is by aspiring to become better. So I want to wrap this up. As a leader, you also have to be passionate and committed to the things that you do. I think those are really self-explanatory. If you have a passion for something, you must equally be committed to it. I will give an example. Within the workspace, how we work is you do a bit of something, then you get onto another, and then you get onto another. So you spread yourself thin to a point whereby you're not able to finish tasks. Yeah. But just imagine how efficient you would be if you finished one task. Put all of your passion, commit to making sure that it's finished, it's in its perfect state before you move on. That places you as a leader compared to someone who is really just doing half of each and everything. Yeah. So, and then humility and empathy. A great leader needs to relate well to all of its organizations or homes, all of the people that are in that space. There is no room for a big ego. You have to exercise humility and empathy. And empathy is really understanding from the perspective of someone else. You get sometimes people are really just coming to work late because maybe they do not have a car, and your privilege is you sit in your car from your house and you don't get hit by the rain, and you're putting this person on the spot for coming late. But you need to have empathy to understand where are they coming from. From the point of, I know this is a conversation that we can have some other time on the YouTube channel, but say for example, women that are mothers and in the workspace, I do not understand why we need to have stringent rules for such women. I honestly do not understand. Because let me tell you, that's a conversation for another day, but we need to also reflect on, we need to have empathy for women such as those in the workspace, in whatever space that we find ourselves with them. And then, like I said, listen, also persuade, direct, and motivate. As a leader, you have to be motivational. Guys, you have to motivate. Your subordinates, your colleagues must look at you and say, oh wow, this person, because of the way they speak, because of the way they are eloquent, because of the way they dress up, I am motivated to become a better person myself. As a leader, you must be able to identify this day, who am I motivating? Who is my target audience? You get, who am I motivating with what I'm going to say, with how I'm going to dress, with what I'm going to do? All of those aspects are very important. And then also, you need to be able to respect and recognize. So you must be able to uplift other people. Leaders do not get to the point that they are because of certain aspects. As a leader, you're standing on shoulders of so many people that came before you, or many people that support you. So you must be able to respect and recognize you know, it takes nothing away from you if you highlighted the contribution of someone in your, you know, in your team meeting or at home. You know, do you guys give small thank you tokens to your nannies, to your subordinates, to your colleagues? This inspires them, but it also lets them know that I recognize that you recognize the work that they do and that their contribution is very important. You know, sometimes we are really working like robots. Like we ask and never actually recognize, we never give back. So that leaves, you know, the people that we work with or the people that we relate with feeling, you know, very in a bad space, all to say, yeah. And then as a leader, you must know how to resolve conflict. That's very important. You see, let me tell you, there is no place that you will go to and not meet conflict. In your home, in your relationships, there is always conflict. But what sets you apart as a leader is, you know, being able to resolve these conflicts. I'll give an example from the Bible. Remember the story of Solomon? Solomon was a very wise person. But two women come to him and they both say the child belongs to them. So, you know, Solomon, being the wise man that he is, says, you know what? Since you guys say the child belongs to you, let's split the child in half so that each of you take half of the child. You get? And then one mother says, you know what? Okay, keep the child. And because of that decision, Solomon was able to know, oh, you know what? The child doesn't belong to this mother. The child belongs to this other one. So as a leader, Solomon was able to resolve that conflict, but then also gets applause from the people that were there about, you know, how great his wisdom was. You get? So as a leader, you must be able to resolve conflicts without taking sides, especially if these conflicts involve two different people, two different parties. So you must be able to resolve it equally and fairly. Guys, we could talk about leadership all that we want, but I feel that we are entering a season of leadership, and I think that the conversations that we are going to be having in this month are really going to focus on leadership. How do you aspire to become a leader? How do you answer the call to become a leader? You don't even have to be, you know, you don't have to be in the government. Start with where you are. As long as you start to influence a group of people, know that you are on your way to becoming a leader. Because at the end of the day, your leadership, the quality of your leadership is shown by how many people believe or are impacted or are influenced by your leadership. Guys, let me know what you think about leadership. I hope that this was very exhaustive. Of course it was not, but like I said, this month we'll focus on leadership conversations, and I hope to see you all. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section. You know, I will put a link of the Huduma Fellowship down below. I honestly love Huduma Fellowship because it set me up, and you should be able, as a person, the call to action from this video is, as a person, look out for spaces that set you up to become the best leader that you can be. Thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know what you think. I'll also put a link to this article down below. Thank you guys. Until next week.